your results in this 2016. So without the further ado, we're going to get started. Like I said earlier on, if you swipe left, right, up and down, you will be able to share with your followers. If you hear something you like, feel free to tap the screen like crazy to show the hearts. And if you're watching this on Periscope, feel free to follow me on Periscope. If you're watching a recording of this on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel to see all the similar trainings to this. Okay, so the first thing about time management is self-discipline in action. So self-discipline in action, and thanks for sharing, Louise. So self-discipline in action, number one thing is goals. So if we talk about time management, first of all, we need to have goals. Why do we need to have goals? So we know what are we going to try and do with this time, right? So we set goals, and there might be different goals, like I mentioned at my last training. So these can be personal and family goals, business and financial goals, self-development goals, etc. Now, all of these goals should be in writing, right? So you need to have some sort of a book or a notebook or something like that. Just grabbing one, right? Something like that to put your goals in. So this way they are in writing. They have to be in writing, and you need to write loads of them, right? And because guess what? You're probably not going to achieve all of them. But the actual process of ticking the boxes of going, yeah, done that, yeah, achieved that, yeah, achieved that, really, helps you to grow, really makes your morale go up, when you're ticking these boxes. So don't just have goals that are super massive. I mean, you want the super massive goals, but you also want simpler ones as well, where, things you want to acquire, places you want to visit, things you want to learn, etc. So this way, as the year goes, you can start ticking them off and go, yeah, done that, yeah, achieved that, yeah, really good. Number two is plans of action. So once you've set a goal, you need a plan of action, which is a list of things to do or to complete to achieve that particular goal, right? So this is like breaking the goal down into smaller pieces. So if your goal is super massive, you can then break it down and go, okay, so what are the things I can do to get closer to that goal? All right, number three is analysis. Hey, Saida. So basically, what you do, you're making a list a day before, a night before, and you're starting to analyze, okay, so what do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to do within next week to move closer to my goal, right? And you can start thinking, what is, what's important, etc. And that's why number four is actually prioritizing. So once you decided a list of things you need to do, let's say next week, then you can start prioritizing. Hey, which part of Russia? So you can start prioritizing. You can go, okay, so this is the most important, and this can go after, etc. So you can attack the most important things first, and then also, the way you prioritize, you ask yourself a question. Thanks for the hearts. You ask yourself a question: is what is the most important to me right now, or what impact will it have on my future? Right? So whenever you do something, you go, okay, what impact will that have? Is that going to have a massive impact for my business, or not very massive impact on my life, or not so, right? And then that's how you can prioritize. Okay, number five is concentration. So you want to do the tasks right away, right? Don't leave, come back, leave again, come back again, because it will take like 500 times longer, So try to do things in one go. So if you start a task, try and complete it. If you want to set up, a Facebook page, right? So do the whole thing in one go. Don't just like start it, leave it, because it's just going to take forever. So do these things quickly and in one go. Hey, Lee. So that's concentration. Number six is tasks, so you can have like a sorting system. For example, A, B, C, D, E, where A stands for must do, B stands for should do, C stands would be nice to do, D stands for delegate, and E stands for eliminate. So you can sort of start sorting your tasks, and you can go, okay, this one, you really have to do it. It's like life and death, and it's going to have a massive impact on my business. This bit, maybe not so important, right? So you can start analyzing your tasks. Okay, number seven is deadlines and rewards. And again, deadlines are extremely important. I've already talked about that when we talked about goals, that the goals have to have a deadline. When do you want this to happen? But so any tasks or any anything, you know, you have to set a deadline. So because they say that the work expands to the time you give it to. So if you want to do something and you say, well, I'll give it a week, then guess what? It's going to take you a week. If you do the same thing but you go, well, I'll give it a month, guess what? It's going to take you a month. So the work expands to the time you give it. So set deadlines that are quite quick, you know, so you go, okay, I need to do this in the next couple of days, etc. And one of the things that I use is what I call forcing system, which basically is telling other people you're going to do something, right? So I don't know, this Periscope, you know, I've put it all out there, you know, saying that, hey guys, at 6 o'clock tonight, I'm going to run a Periscope. Now that sort of forces me to do it. If I don't turn up, that would not look good, you know, so this way it helps me to focus. Hey guys, welcome along. We're on time management. Feel free to swipe left, right, up and down to share it with your followers. You know, feel free to tap the screen to give us some hearts if you hear something that you agree with, etc. You know, and feel free to follow me on Periscope. Okay, and also beware of people who are going nowhere, but they want company. These people are the best recruiters, you know, people who are going nowhere, they want company and they will recruit you. They will get you on board, right? So beware of these people and watch out, you know, because they can, you know, slow you down in life, okay? Number 8 is time log. Okay, so time log you do after. Like the to-do list you do before the day, before the week, before the month. But the time log you do after, where you at the end of the week or at the end of the month or at the end of the year we just had, you can sit down and look back to the year and go, okay, you know, what have I achieved? What I have not achieved? You know, why did I not achieve it, etc.? Where did my time go, etc.? So you can start analyzing, because again, unless you analyze it, you're not going to be able to change it. So you need to look back and be real with yourself and go, well, why didn't I achieve this goal? What happened there? You know, what stopped me? Was the goal unrealistic, or was I a little bit lazy or whatever, right? So you need to start analyzing it and find what are the things that, you know, stopping me from greatness right now. Okay, number 9 is procrastination. So procrastination is all about, you know, putting things off, not doing them right away, not doing them straight away. So that's really negative, and it can again impact your life or your business negatively, where people go, you know, just another day, you know, maybe one day, maybe next week, maybe next month, because most people are faked out because they think that the life is infinite. They think that the next week or next year is there, but unfortunately, as sometimes happens, it isn't there, right? You know, so some people think that life will be, you know, carry on, but they don't appreciate the fact that years go by, etc., and they miss out on many opportunities, you know. So the idea is not to procrastinate and to really go for it, right? Go for it now, as if it was the last month you live, as if it was the last year you live, right? Enjoy the life, you know, experience stuff. You know, one of the things I spoke on one of the other webinars is like compressing more experiences in the same time. Because how can you live longer? Well, you can't live longer, right? You only have so many years that have been given to you. But if you compress more experiences in the same time, then you're almost living longer, isn't it? You know, because let's say most people will go on holiday once a year. But what if you really work hard and build your business to where it allows you to take 5 holidays a year? So now in 1 year, you're experiencing as much as somebody else would experience in 5 years, right? How good is that? So that's, I think that's as close to living, you know, forever, right? So that's procrastination. So you don't want to put things away. You want to do them right away. Okay, number 10 is delegate. So what of the things you're doing right now, somebody else could do cheaper and faster, right? So you always need to think about, you know, how can I make first of all, what is the most important task that makes me the most money? If I concentrated on that one activity, I would make the most money. Once you found that, then everything else, you want to, as much of that, you want to delegate to other people. You want to give it to other people to do, who can do it faster or maybe cheaper, and you focus on something that makes the most money to you, right? That's what most millionaires do. Most people who make millions, they find out something that they're really, really, really good at, and then focus on it 100% and give everything else for other people to do. You know, from home cleaning to cooking to washing cars to all of that, right? So they focus on the most important things and delegate everything else. Okay, number 11 is meetings. And again, especially in business, you're going to have a lot of meetings, and meetings make money. But you need to know, what's the purpose of the meeting? Treat the time as an investment, because your time is money, right? Set the agenda before the meeting so you know what this is all about, etc. Most important things first, and start and finish on time. One of the worst things to do is start your meetings late, for example, especially if it's group meeting and you're waiting for the people, because otherwise, if you're starting late, that means you're punishing people who got there on time and you're rewarding people who got there late, which is completely crazy, right? So you don't want to do that. Number 12 is eat that frog. And a lot of you know of the concept of eat that frog, which is basically, frog is something that you're uncomfortable doing, but that thing is probably the most important thing in your life or your business that can give you the biggest advantage and the biggest progress. But usually, these are the things that push you out of your comfort zone. So that's your frog. So, the question is, if you knew you had to eat the frog, when would be the best time to eat it? And of course, most people say, well, the best time to eat it is right away, right? I mean, it doesn't pay to wait and think about it, right? So exactly the same way, these most important things in your business or in your life, you want to do them right away. You got up in the morning and you do your something that you feel uncomfortable and get that out of the way, and then do everything else after that. Okay, number 13 is punctuality. And again, if you're punctual, if you come to meetings on time, if you come to appointments on time, you're showing competence. If you're always late, then basically you're insulting the person, because you're saying, I don't respect your time, right? So I always say it's better 15 minutes early than, 5 minutes late. And it's really, especially when it comes to business, if I'm meeting somebody and I'm going to tell them about the business, let's say, if I come there early, I have time to prepare and set myself up, etc. But if I come there late, then I don't have any time to prepare. And they already, I've already lost face in front of that person. So I have to sort of dig myself out of the ditch. So it's actually worse, So it really, really pays to be a great timekeeper, Louise. So number 14 is lack of concentration. And again, we're all guilty of that sometimes. And what I mean by lack of concentration is that we are bombarded with information. So as you go through the day, I can't even imagine my life now without a notebook. Everywhere I go, every phone conversation I have or whatever, I always have my notebook handy to take notes. Because if you think you're going to remember, you ain't. I can promise you that. So I always say that the bluntest pencil is sharper than the sharpest mind. And what I mean by that is what you write down, it's there forever. What you think you're going to remember, you're probably going to forget. So it's really important to take notes, especially, in trainings and things like that. Whenever I go to trainings, I take notes, and I have notes since like 5 years ago, etc., which I can go back to, reference, learn something from them over and over again, make another training from them for my team and things like that. So it's really, really important to become a really good note taker. Okay, number 15 is work simplification. So again, in your business or in your life, what can be done cheaper, faster, better, easier, right? Always think about it. And one of the best things for work simplification is teamwork. I can't tell you enough times how many times I had a problem or a challenge and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It's like this challenge is completely like a roadblock. And then I would speak to somebody, my mentors, etc. And they'd go, well, I know a guy who can fix that, etc. And I go, oh my gosh, I never thought of that, right? So, one of the biggest lessons I've learned was think aloud. Whenever you're having a challenge, whenever you're having a problem, think aloud. Share it with, especially with your mentors, with people who, are, whatever, you're guiding you in business or whatever, because they will be able to help you and to guide you, and to give you some support and ideas of how to overcome that. Because again, when I learn from other people, I learn from people who already been there. They already know the road ahead. So I can always go, well, I'm having this challenge. Have you ever came across that? And most of the time they'll go, yeah, I know the thing, this is what you need to do, etc. So it's really, really important to use that. Okay, number 16 is uninterrupted time. So again, you need to think to yourself, when is it that I can steal some time so that I can focus without being interrupted? I'm a dad with, 2 small girls, and they can, be really loud and really whatever, right? So So that can distract me from work or whatever, right? So, and because I run my business from home, you know, very often, you know, they are around, etc. But that obviously is the whole point for me to do the business, because I wanted to spend more time with them. But exactly, Luis. So this is, you know, when kids are at school. So things like, you know, when kids are at school, or, you know, when you're traveling, for example, like, a lot of people say, well, I don't have time to listen to motivational stuff or whatever. Well, at home, me neither. I don't have time to do that at home. But when I'm driving, without exception, you know, I'm always either listening on a CD, or I'm playing stuff off of my phone via the car stereo, etc. And I'm listening to stuff because I'm traveling anyway. You know, if I have to go to an appointment for an hour or 2 hours drive, then that's 2 hours I can be investing in myself instead of listening to, you know, negative news on the radio or whatever, right? So I always think, when can I get some uninterrupted time? Or for example, in my case, sometimes I get up early, you know, when everybody else is still asleep. And that gives me a time to read a book or to do something, you know, whatever, you know, or late in the evening, you know, when everybody's asleep, I can then maybe record a video or do something that I need uninterrupted time. So again, think to yourself, when can I snatch some of these, you know, and it doesn't have to be hours. You know, sometimes people think that I need hours of this. You don't, you know, do it in 15-minute blocks. Think, when can I get, you know, a couple of 15-minute blocks, maybe one in the evening, one in the morning, etc. And in a 15-minute block, you can do something. You can post a post on Facebook, or maybe you can do a little blog, or you can do whatever, a short video, or something like that. You know, the idea is that to start, you know, stealing some time from distractions and investing that into your business or into something that you want to achieve. Okay, number 17 is learn more. So without, you know, a doubt, if you want to earn more, you need to learn more. You need to invest more in yourself. And the way you do it is by learning, you know, by working on your skills, or by working on your psychology or philosophy, etc. So, you know, invest at least an hour a day into yourself if you can, you know, or at least half an hour. You know, and one of the things I always advise people is to read at least 30 minutes every morning. You know, so the first thing you do when you first wake up, if you can, read for 30 minutes. You know, get a book, you know, in your field or in your business or in your whatever, and start reading it, you know, 30 minutes a day. If you do that, oh my gosh, you know, you can read a book in a couple of weeks. Over a year, you can read, you know, loads of books, you know, and that will make you like in the top of your industry, whatever you do. If you keep reading, you know, 2-3 books a month, oh my gosh, you know, you're going to develop and progress so much, and you're going to gain so much knowledge. And again, it's not so difficult to do. Number 18 is phone. Again, if we talk about time management, phone can be, you know, your best friend, but it can also be your worst enemy. So again, just sort of use the things, you know, have things a voicemail, you know, have a proper voicemail message, you know, so when somebody calls you and if you don't pick up, they hear that, hey, this is Gediminas, you know, leave a message, I'll give you a call as soon as I can, you know, instead of just going, hey, this is 077, you know, because that is not personal, and person might think, oh, I don't know if that's the right person. So you want to have a voicemail, you want to be fast on and off, you know. So one of the things, again, you know, as your business grows, you will have a lot more phone calls, you know. So as you're getting more phone calls, you need to get a little bit better at it, you know. So one of the things that I do very often when somebody calls me, when I answer, I go, hey, you know, what can I do for you? So straight away, it takes them to the point. You know, we're getting rid of all the, you know, formalities and all the how are you and how are you? Oh, I'm very well, and how's the family? You know, because that can take an hour. So I just go, hey, what can I do for you? You know, and they go, oh, I need this, that, and the other. I go, awesome, you know, I'll send that in a minute. Gotta go. Right? So this way, you know, it's just being effective and efficient on the phone as well. All right, number 19 is key result areas. So again, sometimes people go, well, I don't know what's next. What do I need to do next? What else can I do, etc. And I always go, you know, what is the key result area in what you do? What are you? What is being expected of you? You know, what will bring more money to you? You know, what is the core function of your business? And then just focus on those things. You know, if you answer those questions, these are the things you need to be doing. You know, what's going to make me more money? That's the most important question. Now, not to be whatever, very materialistic, etc. But especially in business, you know, you need to focus on the income producing activities. You know, sometimes people get drowned in all of this, you know, preparation stuff, you know, of trainings and learnings and labeling the products and things like that. You know, they do everything except one thing that actually needs to be done to make the money, which is actually talking to people, you know, about the product or about the business. So it's really important to focus on the key result areas. Number 20 is batching tasks, right? So again, there's a learning curve with anything. So when everything is hard before it becomes easy. Everything is hard before it becomes easy. Doing a Periscope is hard before it becomes easy. You know, calling people, you know, running, I don't know, everything is hard before it becomes easy. So you need to do loads of something to get really, really good at it, right? So batch tasks. If you're going to call a bunch of people, call them all in one go. If you're going to go and leaflet out your area, just go and do it for a couple of hours, because the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? So it's just batching tasks helps you to, again, get better and do it faster. And then the last one is neatness. You know, number 21, clean up your work environment, because cleaning up your work environment improves your productivity by 20 to 40%. Right, so it's really, really important, you know. So my office, it gets messy, you know. So once in a while, I do a bit of a spring cleaning, you know, and I start cleaning up the area, etc. Because it almost unclogs your brain as well, you know. When the work environment is clean, you feel fresher. I don't know, it just helps you to work, right? So again, toss stuff away, refer it to somebody else. A is the action file, so act on it, and F is file for future. Okay. Awesome, guys. Hope you found this useful. As I said, if you watch this on Periscope, do follow me on Periscope for more trainings like this. If you watch the recording of this on YouTube, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out my blog at titaniumsuccess.co.uk/blog. Awesome, guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you at the top.